on YouTube. It is January 28th, 2018, and I'm about to install some medical gas equipment here in the patient's room. I've got some hoses for my air-powered surgical handpiece. We've got our suction canister. We've got our oxygen outlet, and that is about it. So let me get to work here. So the the medical vacuum is pretty simple. It's a nice Amico regulator, and all of these just have a standard DISS connection in the back, a disc connection, which is a pretty much permanently mounted connection as opposed to some like the quick release that you might see at the hospital. I've got no plans to be removing this stuff, so I don't need it to be quick release. Now, you also notice that there is a place for a set screw here, so if you really want to lock this thing down, after it's tight on the wall, you could put a set screw in there and make it even harder to get apart. Okay, now I've got a 12-inch crescent wrench on that bad boy. That's a whole lot of leverage right there, so, get it tight, but, this isn't a head bolt, so you don't need to torque this thing down to gorilla strength or anything. All right, so that's simple. The regulator is installed. My pumps aren't on, so you're not going to hear it running, but we've already checked all that stuff, and I know it works. We'll move on to the suction canister that goes right there. Okay, these are pretty simple. Even a caveman could do it. You just slide that bracket down into the groove here. Yeah, great camera work, right? Apparently caveman can do it, but oral surgeons can't. Come on. There. All right. So, that's meant to be pretty easily removable. And then this stuff here is disposable. So that's your top and bottom on the can. One fairly insignificant thing that you might want to think about is on these cans, the measurements are only written on one side. And you might want to kind of assemble this so that ends up being readable. If you look on the top here, we've got an ortho slot. Don't need that, so I'm going to cap it off. And then you see the place where you plug in the hose coming from your vacuum. So that needs to kind of be turned towards the regulator, and then the patient slot sort of more towards the room. And then make sure it's lined up where you can see it. Snap that down, real simple. I'm going to turn that just a little bit. I'll drop it in here.
Okay, I know that's pretty OCD, but admit it, you want your surgeon to have a little bit of OCD in them.
Let's put our oxygen flow meter on there. Again, it's a nice Amico, and it's got the same DISS connector with the set screw possibility that we're not going to use. So just, get that started. Be careful not to cross-thread it. I'm going to get it kind of finger tight here, and then, oh yeah. We're definitely making a connection. There. Okay, once you get a little tighter, it quits leaking. I'm not going to put it quite straight yet because when I turn it with the wrench, it'll move a little bit, especially since I'm doing it one-handed. Again, we got the monstrous 12-inch crescent wrench here. And we will just tighten it a little bit. Okay. That's fine. That's plenty tight, and that will work nicely. It's not quite straight, so I'll fool with that in just a minute when the camera's off, or now, because it bugs me. Okay. And then we've got the Christmas tree adapter. This is obviously the most common attachment to put on here, although you could do an oxygen hose. And we should be able to kick that on, and we've got oxygen flowing. So, perfect. Now the nitrogen connector. There are a few options here. This is a DISS, a disc connection. I'm using the Hall Osteotome 2 handpieces. So just standard nitrogen handpieces, but they use a Schrader type connection. So one option is an adapter like this. That's a finger tight DISS for the wall that directs it straight down into your hose. And that'll work just fine. This thing was around about $100. There are name brand ones that are sold from the dental supply houses that are like $300, and I would never buy that. Instead, I got online and found these guys at Broward A&C down in Florida. I called them yesterday and I said, hey, look, I am opening an office in like a few days and I need some adapters. And so they put one together for me. Let's see, I got the prices right here. Yeah, it was right at $100, which I know is still expensive, but it's a heck of a lot cheaper than the $300 name brand ones that are, being sold from big dental supply companies. So give these guys a shout out. They are definitely a good place to go to. Here's their contact information, phone, website, all that stuff. Now, even though I have that nice adapter, what I really need is a longer hose, because the standard hoses for the handpieces, I think those are like 6, no, they're longer than that. It must be about 8 feet tall, or long, I mean. But that's still not quite enough to go from my wall over here to the chair and, like to that side where I'll be standing. So the guys at Broward also made me some of these 6-foot extension hoses. And these will be basically permanently left on the wall. We'll wipe them down between patients, and then we can autoclave the hose that goes actually to the drill. So these are, just standard DISS connections. I'm going to hook that up and I'll show it to you here in a second. All right, there it is. A little pro tip for you: don't coil that up and hang it on here. That's going to wear out this connection. You're going to get a leak and you're going to lose all your oxygen. Don't hang it on your vacuum either. What the real pros do is just let it hang on the floor, because that looks the best. If you're all, worried about how stuff looks, you might install some sort of hook on the wall right there for the hose, but why would I do that? Okay, now there is no way that I can show you how to do this with just one hand while I'm holding the camera. But I mean, this is a real simple connection. If you've ever used a compressed air hose, you can do it. It's just a press fit until they click together. Exactly like that right there. So when we're actually doing surgery, that hose can rest on the ground. And I've got, let's see here, plenty of hose to get way around to the patient and be able to comfortably do the surgery. And I got coffee back there. No cats in this video though, sorry. Okay, so here's our finished product. I've got the hose rerouted behind that chair now. And if you got any questions, I guess you can put them in the comments, but I doubt that that was that complicated and anybody's gonna have questions. So remember, we're opening up on December 31st. And then we'll be closed New Year's Day and right back at it on Wednesday. So if we can give you any help, give us a call. It's 210-778-0002. Thanks. Bye.